Hey there, welcome to the Membership Geeks podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, and today I'm going to reveal something that might just surprise you, even blow your mind. You ready for it? Even the biggest, most successful membership sites make mistakes. Yes, despite their massive teams, big budgets, and years of experience, even the heavyweights in the membership world get things wrong. And in today's episode, I'm going to walk you through some of the most common mistakes that these huge memberships make. Mistakes you might also be making yourself. But here's the good news. If the big players are dropping the ball in these areas, that means you have an opportunity to get ahead of the game and do things better. So these takeaways come straight from our Membership Insider series that we have as part of Membership Academy. So these are real-time deep dives into some of the most well-known membership sites, masterclass.com, Digital Marketer, Creative Live, Drumeo, and so on, where I literally just hit record as I experience their membership for the very first time, all the way from their sales page to sign up to inside the membership through to cancelling. And I give my unfiltered, uncensored real-time reactions as I go, sharing the insights into what works, what doesn't, what they could be doing better, and what stands out as great practice. So we've done a whole bunch of these. I think there's about 16 or 17 membership insiders inside the academy. And through doing those, and of course, through over a decade in the online membership game, you spot the same themes, the same mistakes coming up time and time again. And it's almost reassuring to see that some of the big players make these mistakes too. Because as I said, it reinforces that you don't have to get everything perfect in order to be successful, but it also represents a massive opportunity. So let's break down the most common mistakes that even the big successful players are making and how you can avoid them. The first is poor or non-existent new member onboarding. You've heard me say it before if you've been listening to the Membership Geeks podcast for a while. Member onboarding is crucial. Memberships are a retention business, and retention starts day one, minute one with your new member onboarding. What happens within the first few minutes, the first few hours, the first few days of a new member's experience with your membership is vital. Yet some of the biggest names in online memberships still get it wrong. Sites like Codecademy, Creative Live, and SitePoint, they're all huge memberships, but they have no real user onboarding. No guidance, no welcome tour, no structured first steps. You join and that's it. You're just dumped in there. On the other end of the spectrum, Jamplay, which is a guitar membership, asks you for loads of information during the sign-up process, way more than is necessary. And I recall going through the registration thinking, okay, this is really going to make for a very tailored member experience, but nothing comes of it. It's just data entry. Once you're done giving them all this information, you're just dumped into the membership with no clear path forward and no tailoring, no personalization based on the info you just gave them. And even when onboarding starts off well, some memberships fail to carry it through to the full member experience. Guitar Tricks do a great job during sign up to learn about your skill level and interests, but again, they don't then tailor the experience based on that information. So what was the point? The lesson to be learned is that your onboarding should do more than just collect information, and it certainly shouldn't just dump people into your membership. It should guide your members, engage them from day one, and where possible, personalize their experience based on the information that's collected. So that is the first big common mistake, poor or non-existent member onboarding. The second is sloppy integration between multiple tech systems. There's a surprising number of big memberships that suffer from what I call the Frankenstein's monster membership. It's a patchwork of different tools that don't quite properly play together. And it's a little bit janky, it's a little bit incohesive as a member. Now, sometimes this is unavoidable if you're trying to do a lot of things that you can't just get with one piece of software, but you need to at least paper over the cracks and at least try to smooth out the bumps in the member experience, and particularly for those bigger players who do have the budget, who do have the team where they could be doing better, it is surprising how many aren't. SitePoint, for example, they offer upsells during the checkout process, but if you try to pay via PayPal, their checkout integration doesn't allow it because it doesn't play nicely with PayPal. So instead, you get this vague error message that makes it look like it's your fault rather than a technical limitation on their end with how their systems speak to each other. Then there's Mixergy. That's perhaps one of the worst registrations I've ever gone through in a membership. They use third-party checkout software that's not actually part of their membership platform, and there was an error in that software talking to their membership system while I was joining, which meant I hit an error screen, my payment went through, but no account was created. And the worst part is, when I contacted the customer service, it was pretty much non-existent. So I had to sign up again and I got charged twice. And I had to send a lot of threatening emails to get them to actually cancel me for the account where, the checkout software and the membership software didn't speak to each other. There was sloppy integration. And I ultimately had an account, but didn't have an account. I had a subscription I was paying, but didn't have an account. It was a mess. And then Digital Marketer, another highly successful membership, they have a frustrating delay in their login process. So instead of being able to instantly access what you paid for, you've got to wait ages for a separate email with login details. Again, it's a small thing, but it adds unnecessary friction to the member experience during a really important time. And there's lots of examples of this. There's clear examples where people are using different tech for their community to their main site. And it really does feel, when you click that community link, like you're going off to a completely different website. Over at Membership Academy, we use different software for our community. We use InVision Community Suite to our main membership site, which is WordPress based, but we've at least found ways to make them look as close as possible, to make the sign-on between the two seamless. So we have single sign-on. You don't have to log in to do for two different places. They're at the same URL. So there's things you can do even if you are piecing together multiple pieces of software to make sure that they integrate well. So the lesson learned from here is that if your membership is built on multiple platforms, test everything rigorously, make sure the experience is smooth and cohesive from sign up to login to ongoing access, and do what you can, even if it means hiring a developer to plug some of the gaps and to at least try to make these systems play nicely together. The third big mistake is not paying attention to the little details. Sometimes it's the smallest thing that make the biggest difference, and ignoring them can make your membership feel unprofessional or frustrating. For example, SPI Pro and Marketing Profs, they both have some really cool features. SPI Pro has the ability to join 90-day sprints where you're kind of locked into a cohort-driven challenge, a learning experience with a very clear outcome. Now, that is a real great feature of their membership, but of course, there are deadlines to sign up, there are cut-off points and all of that. And within their membership, there's just not enough attention to after those deadlines are passed. I remember seeing these options available, clicking through to them, and then realizing, okay, the deadline was actually a week or so ago, but they just hadn't updated it. They hadn't changed the text. They hadn't taken the button off. So that just becomes frustrating. Marketing Profs give you the ability to book one-on-one calls with guest coaches, guest experts that they bring in, but they don't update the page when all of those spots are done. They don't update the page when the deadline had passed. Again, I remember looking at this and thinking, great, I'm going to see what the availability is. And actually, the deadline for booking in a call had been weeks and weeks prior. This is simple stuff. It's easy to miss if you don't have your finger on the pulse. But if you are using things like deadlines and cutoffs for key features of your membership, you need to make sure you're enforcing them, but you need to make sure that you are hot on it when it comes to updating that information. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of confusion and frustrating. Again, paying attention to the little details. SitePoint, for example, they are a little careless with the text on their website. Just little things. They refer, in some instances, they have books and they have courses. Sometimes they refer to their courses as books. Sometimes they refer to their books as courses. It generally makes things a bit unclear, and you look at it and think, this is a big company. This is somewhere I'm supposed to be learning from, and they can't even get their wording right for the little things, right? And the Fizzle membership, before it closed down, I remember it had a latest content section on the dashboard that didn't actually display any content. It was just empty. Now, that wasn't because content hadn't been released. I think there was just a bug with whatever plugin they were using to show the latest content, and nobody had bothered to check. Nobody had bothered to fix it. And then there's Jamplay. When I did the Membership Insider walkthrough for Jamplay, they were promoting a Columbus Day special offer inside their membership weeks after Columbus Day had passed. These things aren't huge issues, but they do accumulate. They do show a lack of attention to detail, and that's going to not only dampen the member experience, but also if they do build up, if it is representative of shoddiness in other areas, those could be things that cause more significant problems. So the big lesson learned: take the time to actually use your own membership, experience it as a real user. Spot these things, pay attention, and fix these little pesky things before they become big problems. The fourth common mistake, particularly within big memberships I'm seeing, are their half-hearted attempts at implementing a community. Community is a hot buzzword right now, and unfortunately, it's become kind of ubiquitous. It's become watered down as to what it actually means. Some people will talk community and they'll be meaning their social media following. Some people will talk community, they'll be meaning their actual local community. Some people say community and they don't mean an actual organized grouping of people, they just mean a demographic. And then, of course, some people talk community and they mean a community hub, like a forum or a social media group that is part of something like a membership. A strong community can be game-changing for membership businesses. First and foremost, though, not every membership actually needs one. And forcing it in there when you're not committed to actually running a community, or when you don't really know if it's something that fits your model, your audience, can do more harm than good. But of course, because it's such a hot buzzword, everyone is crowbarring community in wherever they can. Not every membership needs it. Teaching Packs, for example, one of our fantastic members, Mark Warner, runs a very successful, popular teaching membership called Teaching Packs. That's a great example of a membership that works without a community. They knew from their audience, they knew from fully understanding the needs of their members that community wasn't something that was necessary, so they didn't include one. And in fact, when they tested adding one, it didn't move the needle. Their members outright said they didn't need it. So you don't always need a membership. But then when you have big memberships like masterclass.com, where they've clearly sort of been told you need community, it ends up a little bit half-hearted. Their community is just there. It exists, but there's no real focus on it. It's kind of in the background. You click through, there's no activity. There's no effort to integrate it meaningfully into the membership experience. It's just a box that's been ticked. And you have sites like Creative Live, when we talk about the confusion over community, they have a community link inside their membership, but actually just goes to a page about their company, about success stories. There's no actual community experience. And there's a whole bunch of big successful memberships where it's so clear their community is just an afterthought. It's just tagged on. They've not really given any thought. They don't have anyone in their team who is in there managing the community. And of course, those communities are a ghost town. So if you're going to have a community, commit to making it valuable. Find ways to make it integral to your membership offering. And if you don't need a community, don't force it. Don't just put it in there as a tick box exercise. The fifth big, most common mistakes we see across big memberships is neglecting offboarding. So when someone decides to cancel their membership, you can't just take it personally. You don't have to see that as the end. You don't have to see it negatively. If you have a well-designed process for offboarding members as they're on their way out, for handling cancellations positively, this can help you on multiple fronts. First, it gathers data on why people are leaving. This data can then be utilized to help you refine your retention strategy so that even if you don't salvage that person, you improve things for the next person. Good offboarding also gives you the ability to offer alternatives to cancelling that might keep that person subscribed. Now, not every person who goes to cancel actually wants to leave. And a lot of the time, cancellations are for temporary reasons, time restraints, financial issues. So if you don't have an alternative to cancelling, then of course that's the only option they have. The choice is I stay or I leave. They might not know they can upgrade, downgrade. They might not know they can pause their membership. They might benefit from a 10-minute conversation with you or one of your team to find out how to get the best from the membership and all of that. So if you're not offering alternatives by having a good offboarding process, then you're missing out on the opportunity to salvage members. And even if they do leave, good offboarding helps you part ways positively so that they might come back in the future or at least recommend you to other people. And even though there are significant benefits and strategic advantages to having a well-designed offboarding process, a lot of big memberships totally neglect this. Now, if you want to learn about optimized offboarding, about having a strategically designed cancellation process, this past week, I actually delivered an advanced workshop inside Membership Academy all about optimized offboarding, where I walk through the exact process you need, the sort of alternatives you can offer, how to present them, and we give email templates, we give script templates for videos you can use to kind of salvage the potentially lost subscriptions, and we walk through the Membership Academy cancellation process as well. So if you're an Academy member, make sure you look up the Optimized Offboarding workshop. If you're not, it's just another great reason to join Membership Academy. So even though offboarding is so advantageous, sites like Creative Live, like Marketing Prof, like SBI Pro have no real offboarding. You click cancel and boom, you're done. You're gone. No follow-up, no final attempt to re-engage. It's just subscribed, not subscribed. You're done. And Yoga International, another site that we did a Membership Insider on, their cancellation process is a mess. Because if you're using PayPal, you start going through their site's cancellation, and then they tell you need to go over to the PayPal website and cancel it because their system can't handle it. Again, your offboarding process matters. It's not just about losing a member, it's about handling their exit in a way that keeps the door open for a return, or at least gives you the opportunity to try to convince them otherwise. So there we have it, the biggest mistakes that even huge memberships make. Certainly not the only mistakes that they make, and not every single big player is making all of these mistakes. And if you're making some of these mistakes too, don't worry, you're not alone. But the fact that big players are getting it wrong, that's your opportunity to do better. Inside Membership Academy, our Membership Insider series gives you those full deep dives into all of these sites that we've talked about and more, where I analyze their sales page, their registration, onboarding, inside their membership, and then their cancellation process. So if you are an Academy member, you can access all of these on demand right now inside the training library. And if you're not, well, that's a pretty good reason to join, not just for these highly detailed case studies, but also to see how we do what we do and learn from the member experience of being in the Academy too. After all, we are a living, breathing case study of the things we teach and help others to implement. There really is no better way to learn. All right, that is it from me. Hopefully, this has helped give you a little perspective. If you're worried that you don't have everything quite right, you're worried that other memberships, they're doing so well, that clearly they must have everything figured out. Trust me, they don't. Hopefully this episode has helped to show you that. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time on the Membership Geeks podcast. Bye for now.
If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Geeks podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. Membership Academy is the original membership about memberships, and it's the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a successful online membership business. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be and you need some help making it a reality, or whether your website is already up and running and you're looking for ways to grow and attract new members, then Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. Not only do you get access to our step-by-step membership roadmap, our extensive training library, and exclusive member-only discount and tools, you'll also become part of our supportive, active community of membership owners that will help you along the way in your journey with feedback, encouragement, and advice. All of this and more make Membership Academy the #1 place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership business. Check it out and join the community at membershipacademy.com.